All right, now I'm doing this properly. Hey, everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the new episode of the Retro Gamers. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
Again, Ant, how you doing today?
I don't know, but I'm getting a real sense of deja vu right now.
Because a good 3 minutes of gold, no one will ever hear because I forgot to unmute my Los Angeles partner here as we started recording.
You call it gold, I call it rusted metal.
Hey, listen, it's an old computer. And to be fair, when I mute someone, because I pull the curtain back, I got the recording on my end, so I kind of am producing the show as we go. Not producing, but I sound, whatever. Recording it as we go. And when I mute one of the other mics, I can still hear everyone talk. So it's not like I realize that someone may be muted. But luckily, I found it just a few minutes into our original recording.
Well, Larry, if you just want to hear yourself, stop calling me to do the show. You can just do it all by yourself.
What you don't know is I always make a second edit of every podcast I do of just me. So then those are the ones I fall asleep to.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, that's like it's like an app on your phone. It's like, Larry Snooze.
Oh, I'm creating that. I'm taking that over. Patent pending. So we were just talking a little bit about just kind of times going, snowing here in New York, fake snowing in Los Angeles.
Yes, there's fake snow in LA.
And we started talking about with the holiday. Trust me, people, you didn't miss anything. Don't worry about it.
Not only that, we're just gonna retell it anyway. So what's the difference?
Might as well. Hey, so how's LA? You seem to be on your way somewhere.
Oh, yes, I am coming to you via my car, again, and I gotta say, I like feeling mobile even though I'm not driving. So,
still just sitting there, and I guess I'll rehash the same joke. Are you on? Do you have to go somewhere? Are you forced to go somewhere?
Well, it depends. It depends on your perspective. Do I really want to go somewhere? No. Do the flashing lights behind me want to make me go somewhere? Yes.
But hopefully everything's going well.
And at excessive speeds.
Yes. Well, I don't know, in your hybrid, I don't know how fast you can go. So
faster than a Ford Bronco.
Touche. And everything's surviving out there as much as possible.
Yes, most of the fires close to home are out. There's still one in Ventura County that's going really crazy. But the firefighters are fighting it.
There you go. Good stuff, people. Good stuff.
Yep.
And that's good. And actually, I did like the story. So Anthony lives in Los Angeles, where it's normally hot as Hades, and but somehow it snowed out there in Los Angeles.
Yes, we got snow yesterday. So I went to this outdoor mall by me called the Americana, and it's like one of these really like new trendy malls with a bunch of expensive stores I'm not allowed in, and then some some regular ones for us folk, like Cheesecake Factory, so and Barnes and Noble. So
they still have a Barnes and Noble.
Yes, and it's actually like it's my favorite place to go. Like, I just go in there and spend hours. So, because I'm old. Yes, I'm old and I like books. Okay, sue me. So anyway, I was going to the mall to go see the new Star Wars movie because they have a movie theater there. And I park in the lot. And I come downstairs and I'm walking outside, and it's all lit up for Christmas, and it's a really cool place. They have like one of those fountains. It's like the Bellagio where they have the water sprays up to music and stuff like that. And they have this huge Christmas tree that's at least like three or four stories tall. Santa and all that crap and whatnot. So and everybody's there doing their shopping. It's completely packed. And then all of a sudden I'm looking in the air, walking to the movie theater, and I'm like, snow. Why is it snowing? I go, this doesn't make sense. And it's not ash because the fires aren't back, close by.
Thankfully.
And I'm looking and I'm like, oh, I was like, okay, so mounted on the tops of the buildings are giant snow cannons that are just shooting out snow, shooting out fake snow, which is ultimately, I think, just like soap flakes, or something of that nature. So if it snows well enough, we would eventually be able to go ice skating in our sneakers on the floor. So outside. But yeah, it was just kind of a cute way to make things festive. And I know it's not the first time I've seen snow cannons either, but it made for a very festive atmosphere.
Cool, good, excellent. It's good.
And then I went in and watched a bunch of people fight for their kids. So to complete the season.
Good stuff. Awesome. And speaking of which season, we're about 6 days away from Christmas.
We are 6 days away from Christmas, and what games is Santa bringing you?
Well, unfortunately, I think my days of Santa bringing me games may be unfortunately behind me. His elves may have to follow up on that a couple days after.
When I meant Santa, I meant you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's when I meant elves. I meant me. So
yeah, no. At our age, and considering the fact that neither of us have a family, we are our own Santas.
Well, no, Santa still visits.
Oh, does he?
I mean, someone's coming in my house.
Oh, well, I would suggest you lock your doors because that's not Santa.
I hopefully this year though, I'm kind of looking for something a little more modern. I'm really hoping I want to upgrade my television, get myself into the 4K era, get myself a 4K television. So
okay,
that's what I'm going.
You get yourself a nice fancy 4K television to play that NES on.
Absolutely, that Retron HD one plugged into a gorgeous 4K television, playing some 8-bit NES games. Yep. I cannot. And then February, I get the Super Nintendo. Cannot wait.
That is some 8-bit 4K awesomeness. So wait, let's do some crazy retro math. So what is 8-bit actually in 4K? Is it like 10-bit?
I think it's like 0.2. I don't know. I can't. Okay. I think somehow in a weird way it gets downgraded.
No, I was going to say. So like you're going to get a 4K television so that your 8-bit could look 580p.
Absolutely. See, it's why I got a really good iMac, and really all I do is just surf Wikipedia.
Makes total sense.
Absolutely. Now my biggest problem though is once I get the 4K TV. Then I got to upgrade to the Xbox One X, and then I got to upgrade to the PS4 Pro, unless I want to wait for the PS5. So
I was just going to say, you don't have to.
No, I do.
Oh, right, it's you.
Yeah. So it's gonna probably cost me more money in the long run, but it's still gonna be well worth it. I was gonna say, especially with some of the games that I am eyeing that I do want to get. But still, even those games are still going to be a bit retro. So yeah, I guess it is kind of funny that I'm really gearing up to buy some games of yesteryear on a brand new television.
And speaking of retro, as I love to always point out, GameStop is having a retro flash sale as we speak.
Yes,
on a bunch of retro games, and the 4 for $20 deal is still there.
And I love but loathe every time you text me that deal.
I know, I'm an enabler. I text you and I text my cousin.
I get the text and I'm like, no, awesome, but I can't. Must not.
It's our job to keep stores like GameStop in business. Therefore, you must spend your money.
I'll be spending my money. Don't you worry. And it'll be at GameStop.
Yeah, as will I.
Because there's a few good games coming out that I'm looking forward to. Again, it's got the retro feel to it. I think hopefully you're looking forward to them as well. I think even though I probably played a little bit more of them, but we got these. Capcom, first of all. About a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, they did their 30th anniversary stream for Mega Man, and they came out with a couple of big announcements, and then right after that, they started announcing stuff left and right for like old games on new systems. It was wild. Some of the smaller stuff, I don't know if you saw this one, but I think you kind of mentioned recently, I think you're going to kick out of this. March 13th, 2018, Capcom will be releasing on the PC, the PS4, and the Xbox One, the Devil May Cry HD Collection.
Ooh, okay, I have to buy that.
So that will be it should be the first 3.
Yes,
Yes, it is gonna be the first 3.
I loved the first Devil May Cry. To me, was like such an amazing
It was
game. Like
so
I just
good.
yeah. I mean, I remember just being so happy when I played through that damn thing.
Hmm.
And then unfortunately, I never went back for 2 or 3. I don't know why, because like I love the first one. A lot of people said they changed the mechanics in the second one. It was a little bit cumbersome, but
A little bit. I
um,
played 2. Yeah, I didn't get much of 3.
yeah, I mean, but I so now I get the opportunity to go back and play
Yep.
2 and 3, which would be awesome. Plus replaying 1, because 1 was just a fantastic story. So
And the it sounds like I didn't see much other announcements other than what we're going to talk about in a moment, and it may not be necessarily as much retro, but just bringing series. But Capcom, especially for the Switch, Capcom is planning on bringing a lot of their game series to the Switch. So that's going to help out moving forward with some new stuff.
yeah.
But
Yeah. So apparently, Capcom's been really impressed with how well the Switch is doing. So, and this is the Nintendo dream scenario, because they always have problems getting third-party publishers, and that's one of the main reasons why, like the Wii U didn't do very well, the GameCube didn't do very well. They just couldn't get those third-party publishers. So now with the Switch, it's like, and the Switch has been consistently, I think, the best-selling console almost every month or every single month since it came out in March.
Yep.
So so Capcom is like, they're just jumping on board, and hopefully that brings other third parties involved as well, because I love my Switch. It's just fantastic.
It's a great, and especially the hybrid of the home console and a portable console.
Yes,
I think really is what's hitting it home for publishers. I think Capcom sees that, especially with a couple of the announcements. They have the big announcements for some of the compilations that they're putting together. I mean, not just for the Switch. Well, one of them, I think, is for the Switch, but just overall. And we'll talk about it real quick. The first one I want to mention is the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection.
Wow. Amazing that First off, amazing that Street Fighter is 30.
Please tell me about it, right? So this one is coming out on pretty much on everything: PS4, Xbox One, PC, and the Switch. Now, there have been Street Fighter collections in the past. In fact, one of the best Street Fighter collections I remember is on the PlayStation 2. It was a Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. It was probably not even the 20th, maybe the 15th. What year was 15 years ago?
2002.
Okay, so maybe it was that one. Because that one had a few of the Street Fighter games on it, and it also came with Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, which is an amazing flick to watch. I don't know if you saw
the animated movie. Yes.
Yeah. No, not the Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No, you just made me flash back to the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
And don't worry,
you should never do that.
I'll let you know, this collection does not have Street Fighter the movie, the game.
Oh, good, but it has Legend of Chun-Li, right?
What? That wasn't that bad compared to Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That movie,
Lana Lang did some good stuff in that movie.
No, that movie was terrible.
I'm comparing it to the first Street Fighter.
Well, they're both terrible.
Poor Raul Julia.
I don't know which one I would prefer at that point.
So with this Street Fighter Anniversary, and again, there's been many collections of this, but this one's like an epic one because it's got 12 Street Fighter titles on it, which seems a little redundant considering how there's like 177 versions of Street Fighter 2.
Well, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
So this one, here's what we have on this one. So we have Street Fighter, like the first Street Fighter, which no one's probably seen in a while.
Yep.
Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha, which is nice to see here, Alpha 2,
nice.
Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. It's going to have, of course, gorgeous graphics on it. It's going to have online play for, I think, 4 of the games.
Okay.
Basically kind of like one of each version, like Street Fighter 2 Super Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. So you can play online in like each kind of iteration of those series. Then you got like the museums, the interactive timelines, bio, stuff like that. I'm really excited about the... Finally, I don't think I've ever played the very first Street Fighter.
Neither have I, actually. Outside, I mean, I think I remember playing it in the arcade. And if I'm not mistaken, in the original Street Fighter, you only got to use Ken or Ryu.
Correct. And
Ryu?
And
Yeah.
Saigat was the villain.
Yeah, yeah, right. And then Bob Saget was the villain. And then they introduced his Uncle Jesse in the sequel, which was M. Bison.
You ever see that Full House Fighter?
No.
I don't know if it's... I still don't know if it's real or if someone just made like a hack or something. But it was like...
Oh, God, I hope it's real.
It's a Full House Street Fighter game.
Okay, that's awesome.
So Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection will be available in May of 2018. I have
a feeling we'll need to do some street fighting.
Oh, absolutely.
Online.
Absolutely.
Yes.
In the meantime, get yourself, like on the Switch, get yourself Ultra Street Fighter 2. That's a really good, that's got a good throwback feel to it because it's got the updated graphics of Street Fighter 2.
Oh, cool.
But it's a new entity into the series. It's not just a rehash; it's a new version. But you can also dial back the graphics to 16-bit.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, it's going to run for about $40. So check it out. May of 2018. Who knows? That date may change. But that was the first big news from Capcom.
I don't think Capcom is known for changing dates. That's a different company.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that in a minute.
Now, the other collection that I'm really excited about because I love this series.
Yep.
Mega Man X. The Mega Man X collection is going to be coming out again on pretty much everything. That one, I don't think there's an actual date yet on that for the Mega Man X collection, but that's going to late 2018, so probably holiday of next year, so about a year from now. Again, on everything. Switch, PS4, Xbox One, PC. It's going to have all 8... I'm sorry. I'm going to take that back. Summer of 2018 will be this collection.
Ah, perfect.
Yep. It'll be all 8 Mega Man X's, which I forgot there was an 8th Mega Man X. I was pretty much getting them up till 7.
There were that many?
There were 8. Yeah, the first...
Wow.
The first 3 were on Super Nintendo. I mean, they were ported some other places as well, but most I remember on Super Nintendo.
And then it moved over to PlayStation, right?
It moved over to PlayStation for 4 and 5, and 6, actually. 7 and 8 were on the PS2. 7 was weird. It was like a hybrid 2D, 3D. It really took me out of the series, which is probably why I didn't play Mega Man 8.
Oh. Please tell me that Mega Man Soccer's on there.
Sorry. No.
Well, I'm not buying it.
As far as I know, it's only the Mega Man X games. And there have been a couple like on Game Boy Color, but these are just the main series. Mega Man X was an awesome series that brought the Siri, shut off. My series is going off right now.
Stop saying the word series.
What? I gotta turn that option off. So, Mega Man X going to the Super Nintendo was a great graphical upgrade for the original Mega Man series. Even though Mega Man 7 ended up on Super NES. But it was really good. I love the series. That first 2 Mega Man X games were amazing.
Again, Mega Man's one of those series where it's like I played the first 2, survived those, which were absolutely amazing. And then like it kind of fell off for me. And then years and years later, and I'm talking, when I say years later, I mean maybe like 3 years ago, I played through 3, 4, and 5.
Oh wow!
So I'm slowly making my way. I know it's been a long time, but I'm slowly making my way through. Because I think Mega Man 6 is the last one on the NES, or 7 you said was.
Well, on the original series, we'll call it.
The original.
Mega Man 7 came out on Super Nintendo. But then Mega Man 8 came out on PlayStation.
Okay, so I have to pick up where I left off and go back. But the X series, I'm actually looking forward to playing because I've never really played it for more than a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So So it'll be really cool to just like kind of pick it up and like play all these awesome Mega Man games that I've never played.
Absolutely. Well, remember, Mega Man X is on a Super Nintendo Classic, so.
Yes, I see it there, and it's I will tackle it eventually.
So this series, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The other big news, I don't know if it may be bigger news, but big news from Mega Man is that we are finally, after 10, maybe over a little, maybe 11 years, we're getting Mega Man 11, an official new entry into the Mega Man series.
Well, it hasn't been that long since Mega Man 10.
No, I think it has.
Has it?
I would tell you, except now for some reason I cannot click on that page.
Well, I honestly think Mega Man 10 only came out like 5 years ago.
I'm gonna take your word on it because again, I cannot pull this stupid.
Okay, 7 years ago.
All right, well, close. So
March 1st, 2010, almost 8 years ago. Okay, so it's been a while.
So Mega Man.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah. Mega Man 9 and 10 came out on the, I remember originally on the Wii Virtual Console. Then they came out on like Xbox Live and PS,
Yes.
PlayStation. Those were awesome because those went straight back to 8-bit. It was awesome. When Mega Man 9 came out or announced, I flipped out. I was like, sweet. We're getting an 8-bit Mega Man, an official new entry into the series, not knowing it was going to be the most difficult game to play ever on an easy mode.
Yeah, well, I mean, all the Mega Man games are hard to play, even on easy.
They're true, but this was sadistic.
No, yeah, I remember because like I bought it. I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I'm going to play Mega Man again. I think I played it for all of like 15 minutes. I'm like, I can't get anywhere. and that was it.
And then Mega Man 10, pretty much the same thing. So now Mega Man 11 is coming out, but this one, which, listen, I get it. They want to take a bit of a different look to it. This one's more of even a little more than 16-bit, but it's not going to be that 8-bit graphics. It's going to be that classic look, but definitely upgraded graphics. Still a side-scroller.
Yes, which I feel like it should be. Like I think when they tried to go 3D, it didn't work very well on the N64. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? We're good. We're good with 2D on Mega Man.
So we're going to get now that Mega Man 11 is going to come out late 2018 on everything. And then also, which is, I think this is a cool, because this lends to the portability of the series, which are currently out. Mega Man Legacy Collection and Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, which are Mega Man's 1 through 7, and then 8 through 10. Bottom line, if you own both collections, you're going to have all 10 Mega Mans. Those are coming to the Nintendo Switch this coming spring.
So I'm sure you'll be buying them for the 20th time.
You know, I'm debating that because I already have all 7 Mega Mans downloaded on the Virtual Console on my Wii U, and I have Mega Man 8 on the PlayStation 3, but
so
you're right.
You're kind of set. You're kind of set.
Yeah, but I'm most likely probably going to.
But you're going to buy it anyway.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Because it's you.
Because that portability. Exactly.
Exactly.
So a lot of these, again, with these collections and the collections aren't anything new. The collections are basically like a greatest hits of a lot of these game series. And I'm not just talking about like we've seen them all. Atari collection, Intellivision collection, the Genesis collection. But I'm talking something like Super Mario All-Stars. Remember when Super Mario All-Stars came out?
Yeah, Super Mario All-Stars was fantastic.
Not
absolutely,
only
like, because we got wasn't that when we got the Lost Levels?
Yes, that is true. Yep.
Yeah, and that was amazing. Like being able to play the Super Mario Brothers 2 game that Nintendo and Japan had deemed that was too hard for American kids. So they released the other Mario 2.
Super Brothers 2, yep.
Super Mario 2. So so it was great. I just remember playing through that. I'm like, okay, this game is awesome. Why didn't they ever release this before?
And meanwhile, like back then, I think like when I first heard about it, I'm like, oh, cool, brand new Mario game. Like it took me a little while to realize. I think it took like an issue or two of Nintendo Power before I actually read it, where Lost Levels was the original Super Mario Brothers 2. Because back then, no internet, so.
Yeah, there was the internet wasn't there, and we had to do legwork the old-fashioned way by asking friends and going to libraries. Yeah.
And that one was awesome because that also gave the graphical upgrade to the Super Mario games, which really put a fresh paint, a fresh feel on it. And then I remember, and then later on when I got it, I was disappointed in the fact that there was no graphical upgrade. I had gotten the Ninja Gaiden trilogy on Super Nintendo.
Well, I mean, I don't want, when I play these compilations, I kind of don't want a graphic upgrade on some of them because there's just something inherently, nostalgic about playing them as they were made.
Agree with you now. Back then, though, I would have
back
preferred.
then you wanted them. Yeah, back then you wanted them to be cooler.
Back then,
to which the company was like, "Yeah, we're not wasting time and money making these better. You're just gonna buy the same ones again and give it."
That's pretty much it. We want your money, so here. But I never owned the Ninja Gaiden series, so that was good. That was a one-stop shopping.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's the other cool thing about these collections. Sometimes if you never owned them, just buy them all in one shot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I liked about, and I know you're talking about specific ones, but I'm going to go back to the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection that they released on 360 and PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, this was the remember when At Games tried to come out with or they tried to re-release, but say it was brand new Genesis, the Genesis flashback, Sega flashback.
Yep.
Yeah. Good job over there. But this one had 40 Genesis games on it, and they were pretty much all really, really solid Genesis games. So, like, to me, this was the Genesis flashback that actually did come out, because you got the Alex Kidd game, you got all 3 Golden Axe, you got all 4 Sonics plus Spinball and 3D Blast, all 3 Streets of Rages, all the Shining series, Shining in the Darkness, yes. Shining Force 1 and 2.
Yep.
And that was my first live stream was the end of Shining Force 2 when I was playing it on the Genesis collection.
Oh, that's right. That's where you played it. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
You got the Phantasy Star games on there. So like it was just a really solid collection. Altered Beast, one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so like that one, like that's one of those games where it's like if you own an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3, or I don't know if you can play them on the current gen, like, because I know Xbox One has some backwards compatibility. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, you're a Genesis fan like I am, that's the ultimate collection you can get.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, like the Namco collections.
I remember all those.
On PlayStation, it's spelled out. You have to buy all 5. It's spelled out Namco.
Yes.
And one of my favorite collections was actually on the PlayStation Portable, PSP. It was the Gradius collection. My love for the side scrollers, and it was 5 Gradius games, 1 through 4, and then there was a game called Gradius Gaiden or Gaiden, however you want to pronounce it, which was pretty much it was like a Japanese release. Exclusively, then finally kind of seeing it out here. It kind of plays like Gradius 3, but it was awesome when I finally played it. That was probably the most played game I had on the PSP.
Really?
Oh yeah, I love that game.
Nice.
The Gradius collection.
I never owned the PSP because it was a handheld.
It was a good one though. I had a couple movies as well on it.
Yeah. And for somebody who's been like, I've been very solidly not anti-handheld. It's just that like I could
interest you.
Yeah, it just never interested me. I was like, it does now with the Switch.
Yeah, that's true. Telling you, man, go get a Super Game Boy.
What's funny? Super Game Boy is one of the items on sale at the GameStop sale.
Go for it! I'm telling you, the world that you're going to open yourself to if you purchase some Game Boy games, you're gonna absolutely love. There are some gems on Game Boy. I'm telling you right now.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. It wasn't the Super Game Boy. It was the portable SNES. What's that one called?
Oh, the Superboy?
Superboy. That's the one that's on. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is currently on sale at GameStop.
Well, still, go find a Super Game Boy. I don't think they're that expensive, to be honest with you.
No, they're probably not. And I will do it so I can play them on my computer
You're gonna like
NES.
You're gonna like it. But yeah, with these collections, do you remember any those like special collections, like in the Ninja Gaiden collection or what was I gonna say, Super Mario All Stars?
Yeah, there was one I had in my head, and and then while
Okay.
we were talking about other stuff, it fell out of there.
I remember I had the Metal Gear Solid collection, HD collection.
Oh yeah.
One,
Oh,
two.
I remember the one that I had in my head, but it's a recent game. It's not a retro game, but it
Okay.
was the Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 4, and then 5 through 7.
Okay.
Because I love those. I love those Lego games.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so much fun. At least let me rephrase that. I loved all the Lego games when the characters didn't talk. I felt like they were so much more fun.
That's true. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, once they started talking, I felt like it lost a little bit of its magic.
I agree with you.
Um,
You know what system had a lot of nice collections was the Wii. The Wii actually put out a lot of good, like the Data East arcade classic collection.
oh, that's cool.
That had stuff like Bump and Jump, Burger Time.
Well, now that I have a Wii.
There you go.
Wait, no, wait, I don't. It doesn't work.
Oh, boo.
Well,
We have
once
a
I
Wii
get,
U.
yeah, I have a Wii U, so like it would be really cool to pick up all of these collections and things that I missed. So Lock and Chase was on that
Yeah.
collection.
They also have
And
on the Wii the Metal Slug anthology,
Ooh,
which is a great anthology, and that's basic 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games are on there. So Metal Slug 1 through 6 plus Metal Slug X, and so there's if you want it like something really good, real quick, definitely check out the Wii because I'm sure those games are going to be very cheap.
yes, they will be. I'm sure.
And but yeah, and if you have any collections that you enjoyed, like those the just kind of like those best ofs, let us know at the Facebook page, facebook.com/retrogamerspodcast. Let us hear some of the collections you love, or maybe collections you would love to see maybe come back, or just kind of like, I want all these series in the games, put them in one disc, for crying out loud. Let us hear what you have to say with all these collections, and check them out as they come through, and be on the lookout because Capcom, they've been very good, so we'll see what they have in store as well down the road.
All right, Larry, it's my favorite time of the week.
I think
And we
mine
know
too.
that. Yeah. Well, it may be. I don't know. We'll find out. But it is time for this week's Wacky Retro Game.
Wacky Retro. All right.
And this week's Wacky Retro Game is for the Super Nintendo, and it was released in 1994 by a developer called Wisdom Tree.
Okay.
And the title of the game was Super 3D Noah's Ark.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Okay. Super 3D Noah's Ark. Now, what can you get from a biblical game that's in 3D? Well, let me tell you.
Shock
So-
and awe.
Well, you're going to get shock and awe because first off, Super 3D Noah's Ark plays similarly, and this is a great way to put it. First off, it plays similarly to Wolfenstein 3D.
I'm thinking of a different game. So, okay, This sounds interesting.
However, now in Wolfenstein 3D, it's a first-person shooter where you're basically shooting Nazis, right?
Yes.
But in Super 3D Noah's Ark, what happens is the player takes control of Noah and he's wandering around the Ark. And what you're doing is you're using a slingshot to shoot sleep-inducing food at angry attacking animals in order to render them unconscious. I guess they're a little antsy because they've been on a boat for weeks and they're raging storms and all. I'm sure there's animal vomit everywhere. So I think the animals are going a little nuts.
Some animals want to eat other animals. I'm sure there was there must have been a system on that boat to keep everything in order. And it sounds like this
alphabetical,
was
I hope. But anyway, so and all the animals on the Ark behave differently. So, for example, goats, which are your most common enemy, they kick Noah. But then other animals like sheep, ostriches, antelope, and oxen spit at you. Now, goats, as you would imagine, like real life goats, goats can't open doors. But in this game, all the other animals can open doors. So you'll be walking through a level, and a door opens, and here comes an ostrich.
It's like the raptors in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe maybe on this version of Noah's Ark they had like the automatic doors, so like they had the sensors, so it knew the ostrich was there and it opened up for him. Yeah, which is weird. And then additionally, what you can also do is you can visit the Ark at nighttime, and you find out that the animals actually at night decide to throw a dance party. Under colored spotlights to rock music,
and don't invite Noah. Those bums.
And they don't invite Noah. So then Noah shows up, and then you can click on any animal at the party, and you get to see them do a solo dance. While Noah gets to hear a heavenly voice on the Ark's dance stage. So God shows up to the animals' nighttime party on the Ark.
Oh, and that is... Listen, if everyone knows how to party, it's going to be the big man.
Yeah, so I don't really need to say any more. If you need to see this magic, please find a video on YouTube or even buy the damn thing. Super 3D Noah's Ark is this week's wacky retro game.
And we got a special guest this week. Both of us are taking off for Retro Spotlight. Even though
Wait, who? I didn't sanction anything.
No, you never did. That's why usually when I sneak in for Retro Spotlight, you yell at me.
Yeah, well, who am I yelling at today?
We have from Victims and Villains and the PS Midnight Cast, our friend and yours, Josh, Captain Nostalgia. Josh, welcome aboard. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
What's up? Humbug.
Yeah, I guess Christmas hasn't reached over into California yet.
No. It can't be Christmas here. Because there's no snow. There's just fire.
Santa's going to have trouble weaving through.
Well, it's going to slightly drop it right outside of the fire lines.
Yeah, I don't think California wants Santa this year.
They do. They just want the biggest present of all.
That's true. Actually, you know what? Snow would be very helpful right now, Santa.
Yeah.
I'm glad we could joke about the fire destruction of hundreds and thousands of acres in people's homes, and Anthony very close to it in somewhat. But hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas,
happy holidays, Josh. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I like running on very little sleep, but I got coffee, I got lungs, got air in my lungs and blood in my veins, so I'm good.
Well, see, now you gotta get coffee in your vein or coffee in your lungs and air in your veins. And see what happens.
Coffee in lungs, that can't be good.
Coffee lungs.
I would love to have coffee lungs. I'd never sleep again.
Oh man, actually, you know what? I could use that too.
So Josh, he's been chomping at the bit for a little while. We have had this planned. So Josh, he's got a retro spot. Now, last time Josh did a retro spotlight is when I wasn't around. Josh was gracious enough to be the co-host for the episode, and he pulled out a hamdinger last time for retro spotlight, which I liked.
Wait, a humdinger?
What did I say?
A hamdinger?
I'm starving right now.
Why is it? Why, I was just gonna say, is somebody hungry?
I just woke up. I'm starving. Leave me alone.
A hamdinger, folks.
So Josh had a bourgeoisie last time as a retro spotlight. Josh, what do you got for us this time around?
So I really wanted to. I got curious because the running gag of the retro gamers has always been, is the Virtual Boy really that bad?
Oh, please tell me.
No.
Please tell me. Please tell me.
I thought about doing a retro reject on the Virtual Boy, but I found a game system that was actually the first, least worst selling video game system of all time, and that is this week's retro reject.
Ooh.
Do you guys
reject. All right.
have any idea what it is?
The worst selling
the first ever worst selling system.
You mean it? Well, no, because my mind just defaults to Virtual Boy. I can't think of anything worse.
I'm trying to think of what came out before the Virtual Boy. I feel like it may be like a Tiger Electronics game, or, I feel like the TurboGrafx Express maybe didn't do too good.
Well, I don't know. It might have been something from the 70s, because like in the late 70s, a whole bunch of different companies tried coming out with consoles. So it's entirely possible that it was somewhere back there.
Let's find out. Josh, tell us, what's this week's retro reject?
Well, the one that I found is actually the Nintendo 64 Double D.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. That was like right around, if not just a tad before the Virtual Boy. Good call.
For those of the listeners,
that was after the Virtual Boy.
Technically, yes and no.
Okay.
When did the Virtual Boy came out? What, 95, 96?
Yes.
Okay, so the announcement for the DD would have been made right around the time of its release, but this is what I found. So,
go for it.
For the listeners that have no idea what the 64 Double D is, it was a magnetic disk drive for your N64, and originally it was announced in 1995, a complete year prior to the actual release of the Nintendo 64, and but it never actually saw the light of day in the US. So for those of you guys that maybe have never heard about it or you've seen pictures of it, so you guys can follow us on Instagram at Victims and Villains. We'll have a whole bunch of pictures, original packaging, some original games for the system, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what this thing looks like. I mean, it's just bulky and it's really ugly.
Yeah, it is.
Do you guys remember the what the system actually looks like?
I've seen
Yes.
it. Yeah, it was. It
goes underneath the N64. It's like shaped exactly like the N64, so you can put it, right underneath it.
So ugly.
Aesthetically speaking, Nintendo really never put that much effort into their systems.
That's true.
In terms of the look?
Yeah.
Well, no, but that's okay because they're awesome systems.
So it never saw the light of day actually in the U.S. However, it did make its debut as a Japan exclusive on December 1st, 1999. The 64 of the name referred both to the system, the Nintendo 64, and the storage capacity of the discs that would expand the memory, which actually made it 64 megabytes. Now, I'm kind of curious because I couldn't find this. How much memory did the actual N64 hold originally?
It should have. I imagine that probably would have doubled it because memory, because graphics was 64. Well, 64 bits.
Yeah,
so, it was a 64.
It was 64. This was supposed to double it.
Yeah, the hard drive would have. There was a small expansion pack for the N64. I forgot how much that added to it, but
this you're talking about the storage pack?
Yeah, the thing you had to put in like when Donkey Kong 64 came out.
Yeah, that was 64.
Yeah, so this was really meant to, I think, pretty much like double the capacity.
Correct.
Oh, cool. And as you guys can probably guess, Double D does not stand for a bra size.
But I will say this though, it does make when you put it on the N64, it does make it a little bit more voluptuous. So I mean, they may have been going for a double entendre there. I don't know.
I've never heard of the N64 being called voluptuous. I like it.
Well, you've never played it with the 64 DD attached.
Clearly not.
All right, so it was actually referred to disk drive, and
jeez, what a come down.
Yeah, no. So this add-on would allow players to an expansion part of the underside of the system. It allowed users to use the drive of 64 megabytes for expanded or rewritable data storage, as well as it had a real-time clock for personal game work design.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Not sure really how that would look or what the point of that would be.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I mean, they did have games like, didn't they have a real-time clock? They did have games in there that were like wasn't Animal Crossing one of those games where it's like stuff happened even when you weren't playing it?
Yeah, like any MMORPG.
Right, exactly. So maybe that's why they had a clock involved there, because there were games that were, using
possibly.
Yeah, using time.
It also used standard fonts and audio library for further storage efficiency. And with this addition, you could actually also create movies, channels, and animations to be used within various games within the Nintendo 64 Double D library, and you could even share it online.
Wow,
cool!
That I didn't know about. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
which actually brings me to I couldn't actually think of a way to like paraphrase all of this, so I'm reading it literally right out of the Wikipedia page.
Okay.
So, quoting all of this, in April 1999, Nintendo ended their partnership with Saint Gia, who had created the Super Famicom's preliminary satellite view online system.
View, yep.
Okay. In Japan, which brought broadcasting from April 23rd of 1995 to June 3rd of 2000. The company then partnered with Japanese media company Recruit to develop the 64 Double D's completely new. Yeah, get your mind out of the gutter. A completely new.
I can't.
Proprietary online system called RANNet, which actually meant Recruit and Nintendo Network. This resulted in an equity-owned joint Japanese corporation that was announced on June 30th, 1999 as RANNet Double D Company Limited. Active only in Japan from December 1st, 1999, so from the release of the system to February 28, 2001, the RANNet service allowed gamers to surf the internet, including a members-only portal, and to share the users' generated game data. The subscription fee included the... Are you ready for this?
Let's go.
Go.
The dial-up internet service.
Whoa.
Fancy.
Wow. All that 28K, possibly, maybe 56K, who knows?
The 64 Double D system hardware and a delivery schedule of game discs by mail. Reportedly, Nintendo and several third-party game systems had originally planned multiplayer online gaming as part of as being more important than even a web browser.
Okay.
So would this have, if this would have been successful, would this have been technically the first online game system?
Very well, no.
No,
only because way back in the day you had the SegaNet. What was that thing called?
You had SegaNet, and then Nintendo, the original NES in Japan, actually had an online component.
Maybe not necessarily. I don't think it did. It have because I know we talked about the Famicom one. Did it have the capability of playing two-player games online, or did it just deliver weird stuff like stock market and horse races?
Well, no. I know it allowed you to do like horse betting.
Yeah, very weird.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the network system.
So
I'm trying to think.
If not, I don't think so. I think really this may have been very clear. Now in 1999, also the Dreamcast, at least here in the U.S., the Dreamcast really was basically, in my opinion, the first console to really try and nail down online multiplayer, because the Dreamcast is the one I remember first having a modem in it to go online, to play stuff like that, not counting SegaNet and stuff like that. I think there was one for Nintendo, like it was a third party. But yeah, no, the 64 disk drive, I think would have come very close, Josh, to being, if not, it probably would have been the first one for online multiplayer, not counting the PC. I don't like the PC.
That's entirely possible. Although there were games on the Satellaview.
They're games, but I don't know necessarily like multiplayer as we know it today.
Multiplayer. So yeah. So 64, the 64 Double D. Probably was the first one to give it a shot. Yes.
Yeah, because I thought about because just kind of getting into now the world of retro gaming, like still being a novice. Like to me, the first game system that I can really think of would have either been the PS2 or the Xbox One. So I didn't know if like something had existed prior to that, making this one of the first ones. So.
Well, Dreamcast was definitely before that.
Dreamcast did it before, though. In my opinion, PS2 was the first easiest one to get it. That was the first one I used to play online.
But the RANNet starter kit came equipped with everything you needed to the service. It came with the 64 double D writable 64 megabit disk drive system, the Nintendo 64 modem, the expansion pack, which was a 4 megabit RAM expansion, bringing the N64 system RAM to a total of 8 bits.
8 megabits.
That's the one that we got. That little piece, yeah.
Yeah. The RANnet browser disk. This let users of the former online service access the members only information. So if you had Satellaview, you got to kind of transfer the membership. Exchange information exchange page as well as the internet. Once logged onto the system, players could choose from the following options: an editing tool, which would allow you to create custom avatars to interact with other users. Yeah, exactly. Information exchange, which would use online message boards and share emails with other users. Community, where you could swap messages with other game programmers and producers. Internet surfing, which would allow you to surf the internet with a custom web browser formatted for viewing on a television set. So that is the RANnet, and there were 16 games that came with the Virtual Boy.
And it's no more than that.
24?
Around there.
2.
Okay.
2.
But there were only 10 games that were actually released until this discontinued in February of 2001. Yeah, I mostly did this for Larry, in all honesty.
So the Virtual Boy's not the worst.
Yeah, so Virtual Boy had 22.
Okay.
Not much more than 16, Larry.
More than the 64 disc drive.
However,
not all of them were released in the U.S., so let's not get too crazy.
However, I will also kind of expand on the 10 titles in a bit. It was considered a commercial failure. There are only 15,000 that were sold, and
really?
Drumroll, 85,000 unsold.
Wow.
Ouchie.
Talk about needing to be buried in a New Mexico desert somewhere. Oh, yeah.
So the remaining titles on this game were either ported to the actual N64 system itself, the next generation of the GameCube, or the generation after that and the Wii, or they were just canceled altogether. I couldn't really find any information like what games they had planned for it. So there is chances are that you have maybe played a originally designed N64 Double D game.
Drives me nuts. It's like calling it a SNES.
I know. Well, I'm going to lament on the fact that since I don't have a 64 Double D, I will never be able to play Doshin the Giant Tinkling Toddler Liberation Front Assemble.
The Japanese like their long titles.
Yes,
I see that.
What is some of the? I remember hearing about some, not a lot, but some games that were planned for the 64 disc drive. But do you got some that did come out? Any information on some of the ones that did come out? Or titles at least.
Give me a second, because the most famous one that actually came out that you were able to play with was actually a Mario game. It was actually one of the release titles for this. Released. It was a sequel to a very strange and beloved Mario title on the Super Nintendo, Larry. So you had so essentially these were the titles that were released. You had Mario Artist Painted Studio, Doshin the Giants. You had the RANnet disc, Mario Artist Talent Studio.
Yeah.
SimCity 64.
That one I've heard about big time.
Yes.
F-Zero X expansion kits.
Okay.
Which I bet would have been awesome.
Yeah, I can imagine.
F-Zero X was a great game.
They had Japan Pro Golf Tour 64.
Okay.
Doshin the Giant, Tinkling Toddler Liberation Front Assemble.
Sounds familiar. Can't wear it.
It does.
It.
It's almost like, yeah.
And Mario Artist Communication Kit, and Mario Artist Polygon Studio.
So they definitely were, like you were talking about with the stats of the 64 disc drive, how it was very almost creator friendly. They doubled up on basically Mario Paint, and it like almost gave the next generation of Mario Paint with this Mario Artist.
Exactly.
For what actually came out. Now, you said you really didn't have a list of games that were canceled.
Nope, I got them. Okay.
All right. I mean, just to talk, I think all of us can touch on a couple real quick.
I was going to say the one that pops in my head was the expansion for Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Yep. Would have been called. I think Zelda 64 was a working title.
The
one that, go ahead.
There was also another Zelda. There was actually Ura Zelda and Zelda Gaiden.
Gaiden. Kind of like Ninja Gaiden?
Gaiden.
That one became, in my opinion, the worst Zelda game ever, Majora's Mask.
I love that game.
You had...
Awesome. You are wrong.
So as far as unreleased games on this, you had Cabbage.
Yeah.
Oh man!
But that ended up influencing Nintendogs on the DS, which was actually a very popular interactive game.
Digital sports newspaper.
Oh, I remember one that got canceled. They were actually going to port Final Fantasy VII to the N64 using the Double D, because it was it was disc operated,
of course.
And Final Fantasy was such a massive game they couldn't get it on a cartridge.
One that I love compilation discs, which is why I'm really looking forward to the Mega Man X compilation that's coming out, even though it's already come out, but now we'll have all 8 Mega Man X games. They plan a Famicom Classics Volume 1. I would have loved to have known what they were going to put on that.
Yeah, that would have been really cool.
What else you got? Rev Limits was another one that was supposed to come out, never came out.
A lot of Kirby 64 ended up coming out on the N64. Crystal Shards.
How about we were supposed to get Super Mario 64 too?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
and a Super Mario RPG too.
Yep. So that would have been awesome.
Oh wait, hold on. Super Mario RPG 2 became Paper Mario?
Oh wow!
I didn't know that was supposed to be a sequel to RPG.
Well, look at us learning things.
Holy cow! Ha ha! Seaman.
Oh god, that game was awful. It was terrible.
Yeah, it had a whole bunch of games. A lot of them, and now that I'm looking at further on the notes, a lot of them were ported more past Nintendo systems. Some of these systems actually went off to go with PlayStation, the Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, and the first generation of Xbox, as well as Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color.
Game Boy.
So all these games wound up finding a home, irregardless of the cancellation of the poor old 64 Double D.
It went on when it was first announced. It went under the name Project Reality, and it was mainly announced as exploring options for data storage, because that was kind of a shift in the systems at that time, where you were really having not a lot of I guess memory or storage or things like that back in those days.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting there, but definitely the discs put a limit on that. The cartridges, I should say, put a limit on that, which is to this day, everyone still questions why the N64 still stuck to discs, to cartridges, as opposed to everyone else going to CDs. I mean, it had its pluses, had a lot more minuses, if anything. But the disc drive, again, it's Nintendo's way of just expanding on what they already had, trying to keep the life going on a main system. Plus, I think with the 64 disc drive, I think it's one of the when I say think, in my opinion, not anything that Nintendo has released, but from the number of planned Pokemon games that eventually came out on the N64 and on GameCube, I think they were really gearing up for this thing to be almost like a Pokemon machine, along with the Mario Artists. If you see the number of games, 1, 2, 3, 4, they had 5 planned Pokemon games, most of which came out.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah, because you had Pokemon Snap, which came out, Pokemon 64, which came out, Pokemon Stadium, and then you had the Stadium package, and then they actually also did a second Pokemon Stadium as well. So, but yeah, Mario Artist was really a driving force.
Very
for
cool.
the system.
You know, Josh, I gotta say, you don't tell us what it is walking in, so we always get a little worried, like, oh, where's he going with it? But 64 disk drive is a great pull, my friend. And I'm sure you learned a lot, too. I don't even think you probably would even aware that something like this existed.
I remember seeing images of this, but I actually have just a little bit more information for you guys if you guys are game. So this was actually priced at $90 US, which
really?
And I'm not sure what that equates to, you being over to Japan so much this year.
Because he has the equivalents in his head.
I was just gonna say, hold on 1 second. That would be I don't know. That would be about 10,000 yen.
Oh wow. So originally this was said to have launched in late 1996. They were trying to really kind of aim it to offer people that were buying the N64 a secondary option as well to kind of get this with them. However, it debuted its first images in November of 1996, and from 1997 until 1999 in the U.S., several announcements were made as to why the delays were ultimately leading up to its pretty much why it just got shut out from the U.S. And at first, it was called the RANNet Starter Kit, which included the 6 bi-monthly games through the mail and a year of internet subscription. So this would have been like the equivalent of, I guess, like PlayStation Live or Xbox Live or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah, Xbox Live, PlayStation Plus. That's exactly what it sounds like.
But yeah, you would essentially, you'd be able to, you paid like a flat fee with the RANNet starter kit, and you got every other month you got new games that would be ported to you, or you would be given through the mail. And oddly enough, you could not honestly get any of this stuff in stores, so it was really rare to get this. If you wanted to get the 64 Double D, you had to actually order it through the mail. Everything had to be done through mail. The discontinuation was announced, which I thought was just really, really bizarre. So they tried. I think that's probably what also contributed to the poor sales and poor reputation of this.
Possibly.
And today you can own your own 64 Double D by going on this magical site called eBay, where the price ranges from $530 to $7,000.
Good Lord, that better be in box.
It looks like it's almost a full collection, actually.
Ooh, 7,000.
Full set, keyboard, 10 games, $7,000.
Yeah. So it was very, very little games, or even the consoles were made available in stores. Like, they would make some of them available in stores, but it was very little onto what you guys would actually experience. So the discontinuation of this system was announced 10 months after its initial release date. So yeah, talk about failures. This thing came out December 99, October 2000. They are already announcing the failure for the system.
Not everything can survive in the market. It's okay.
Yeah, so, exactly. Like, the Virtual Boy, which died a very horrible death.
Yeah.
This one lasted longer. This one lasted longer.
Did it last longer?
I doubt it, honestly.
Wait.
See, Anthony has a giant poster on his wall with all the Virtual Boy.
I do. Hang on. Let me just look right here.
Anti-facts.
So the 64 Double D lasted, about 15 months?
10.
Well, that was when they announced. That's when they announced the discontinuation.
10 months. The Virtual Boy lasted 6.
Okay. All right. Well. But there was 9 official discs that were released for this. 3 were third-party games, and then you had 1 internet application. So, I mean, all in all, like you really only had 9 games for the system altogether. So, all the ones I reported, and like the majority of these right now are so a third of the games that were released. I'm sorry, 4 out of the 9 are all versions of Mario Artist.
Yep.
And you had 2 Doshin the Giant. So really, the library for this game system really was like non-existent at that time outside of those titles.
Well, I mean, considering the fact that like there was so many delays on this thing, I think they realized that they were releasing it so late into the N64 life cycle that it was just not going to do well. So I think they were immediately already starting to cut their losses. So
makes sense.
Yes.
Way to go, Nintendo.
I tend to make sense when I speak.
But that is this week's Retro Reject.
All right, I'm feeling a little feisty. I feel like it's time for maybe a cheat of the week or something.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I have a cheat of the week for you.
Hey-o.
And why didn't you know it? I just so happen to have a cheat of the week based on a topic we just discussed, which was the Mega Man collection.
Ah, sweet.
So this week's cheat of the week is for the uber popular, if not the most popular Mega Man game series, Mega Man 2.
Okay.
And this cheat gets you infinite quick boomerangs, metal blades, and bubble leads.
Really?
Yes.
What do we got?
All right. So when you use your quick boomerang, after you beat Quick Man and you get the power of the boomerang, select your quick boomerang and then shoot 7 of them at a time. So you actually have to count in this one. So you shoot 7 boomerangs and then you press the start button. And then when you press start, you go to your menu where you can select different powers.
Yeah.
So press start after you shoot 7 boomerangs and then select the quick boomerang again. And it automatically replenishes to full.
Wow.
So you can just keep using it ad nauseum. The same thing works with the metal blade, except you have to shoot 3 and then do it. Mm-hmm. And then with the bubble lead, you shoot 1 and then press start and select the bubble lead again. And if you do that, you will have a never-ending supply of boomerangs, blades, and bubble leads. And that is this week's cheat of the week.
And this week in gaming. What do we got, bro?
All right, and the man was
I think I'm on Josh Overload.
Honestly, and he was just with us, and he left the studio, so of course I had to go back and do the pre-recorded version. Thanks, Josh, for not doing it live.
Yeah, Josh, you couldn't stick around for a new one? What's wrong with you?
I mean, honestly, it's not like Anthony sounds any different now than he did just a couple seconds ago.
No, not at all. I sound exactly the same. I don't know what you're talking about.
So what do we have happening this holiday season for this week in gaming?
All right, so this week in gaming. Now, I'm going to precursor this with, I think as we get closer to Christmas, I realize that games, I guess, really popular, like super popular games that we all know and love, don't necessarily come out closer to Christmas because at that point people are done shopping. So it's possible. There's a little bit of a drop off because, I don't know. There's just a little bit of a drop off, but there's still some interesting games on this list.
What do we got? Hit me with it.
Starting in 1985 on the Famicom in Japan, we got the very first Bomberman.
Oh wow! Okay,
which is a great game.
Oh.
Jumping to 1986 on the Famicom Disk System.
We just talked about the 64 disk drive, but now this is the good one.
Yeah, we're not talking 64 Double D anymore. That's
I hate the two of you for doing that.
What? Oh, is that all you can think about now?
Unfortunately,
and more than normal. If you ever come across a 64 Double D, grab onto it.
Game on! Hey-o!
Famicom Disk System. In Japan, we got Kid Icarus.
That was on the disk system?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, cool.
1987 on the Famicom in Japan. There's a lot of Japan on this list this week, by the way. 1987 on the Famicom in Japan. Happy 30th birthday to Final Fantasy.
Wow. Okay. May I have to play
Final
that
Fantasy.
All right.
Absolutely amazing. Moving on to 1988 in Japan on the Famicom, we got Tetris.
Sweet.
Awesome game. Probably that was the one that started feeding my gaming addiction, I think.
Yeah. Oh, you forget about it. You with Tetris. Good
and my love for puzzle games.
Yes.
1989 on the Famicom in Japan. Castlevania 3: Dracula's Curse.
Oh, I love that game. Personally, I think that's my favorite Castlevania of those three.
It's a great game.
Yep.
It's a great game, and it was the it was the impetus of the Castlevania series on Netflix.
Sure was.
So awesome. Moving on to 1990 on the Super Famicom in Japan, because they got the Super Famicom before we did. We got Pilot Wings. Remember Pilot Wings?
You know, I do remember it. Not a fan of it. Not saying it's a bad game. I just wasn't a fan of it. But that's cool that it was released.
I remember I loved Pilot Wings on the N64.
Yeah.
That was one of the launch games, because I bought Mario and I bought Pilot Wings, and that one was so much fun. Now I'd probably lose my mind playing it. Moving on to 1991 on the Famicom, going back to the Famicom in Japan, the Uber Hard Battletoads.
Oh, wow. That is a tough game.
That game is just impossible.
Great game, too. Speaking of compilations, I got that on the Rare Replay.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I have the Rare Replay, so I have that as well.
It's got the NES version and the arcade version.
There's co-op mode on that too, right?
I want to say on the arcade version.
Okay. We should play it one day.
Yeah.
Yep. Moving on to 1992, in Japan on the Sharp X 68000.
Bazinga.
We got Dracula Hakushaku.
Okay. Do you know what that translates into?
Dracula Hakushaku.
I'll take it.
Moving on to 1993 on the Game Boy in Japan.
Okay.
I saw this title and I just had to put it on the list because my mind's in the gutter. Mickey Mouse Magic Wands! Exclamation point.
So it's Mickey Mouse Magic Wands.
Yeah, so it was that, but I didn't feel like shouting because
you're in your car.
What was that game? I forgot the game that I shouted last night.
Twin B.
All in caps.
Takata.
That's right.
Twin B.
Yes, that one.
Yep.
That was awesome. But Mickey Mouse Magic Wands in 1993. We won't talk about how many Magic Wands Mickey has.
Oh,
1994 on the Neo Geo CD.
Ooh, wow.
We got the Fighter's History Dynamite.
Okay, the Neo Geo. What? Neo Geo was amazing with fighting games.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's like over half of the library on the Neo Geo.
Pretty much.
Yep. Moving on to 1995 on the Sony PlayStation, Primal Rage.
I like that.
Do you remember
game.
that?
Yep. Wait a minute, on the PlayStation?
Yeah, PlayStation.
Primal Rage. Oh, okay. No, I know what you're talking. I thought Killer Instinct for a second. Yes, no, Primal Rage was awesome.
Yeah, wasn't that dinosaurs?
Yeah, with a little bit of special powers, but not anything super magical. Just more like I think one of them burped or something like that.
Oh, nice. Burping dinosaurs. I can get behind that. Moving on to 1996 on the Sega Saturn, we got Command and Conquer.
Ooh, a very good game. Very good game.
Yes. Jumping to 1997 in Japan, we got the dedicated handheld version of Tamagotchi Masuchi.
Oh,
I don't know if that's the very first Tamagotchi or not. I don't think it was.
No. The original Tamagotchi was the Tamagotchi that we know, the little egg thing.
Yeah, the little egg thing. So, but I'm not sure if the dedicated handheld version is that egg. Understand?
Yeah, I don't.
Because didn't Tamagotchi just celebrate an anniversary this year? Because I bought you one in Japan.
Yes, and it's still dead. Yes. Like the battery's not dead. It did. It pooped itself to death. I just haven't had the heart to bring it back. But
well, no, I mean that's like the best way to go.
Friend of mine actually just found her original.
Moving on to 1998 on Windows.
Mm-hmm.
We got a really great game that I actually still have the discs for. Baldur's Gate, the first one.
Oh, you had the original Baldur's Gate?
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah, I think it was like 5 or 6 discs too.
I remember that back then.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, I completed that one. Please move to disc 2. It's like, oh god.
It's like a
but Baldur's Gate was awesome. Baldur's Gate was awesome. We won't talk about Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. Moving on to 1999 on the Sony PlayStation, we got Gran Turismo 2.
Okay. Good series. Very good series.
Great racing game.
Yeah.
2000 on the Sega Dreamcast, we got Evil Dead: Hail to the King.
Ah, great game.
Remember that game?
Yep.
That game was so much fun.
Fantastic.
But then again, you get to wield a chainsaw. What's
yeah, and
it's not fun about that?
It's Ash.
Yeah, it's Ash. I've had too much Ash in my life lately. Moving on to 2001 on the Xbox, we got Star Wars Starfighter.
Okay.
Fitting for this week since Star Wars came out. Moving on to 2002 on the Nintendo GameCube. I'm sure you're going to love this game. SpongeBob SquarePants: Revenge of the Flying Dutchman.
I actually know a couple people who've played it. Like, they're like super SpongeBob fans. So like,
they're super high.
Yeah, no, like it's a bad game, but like if you're a fan of SpongeBob, it's fun to pick up.
Ah, okay. Well, that's good. I will not pick it up. Moving on to 2003 on the Game Boy Advance, we got Need for Speed Underground.
Okay, great series.
Probably one of the definitive racing series games.
That's a movie I still want to watch. The Need for Speed movie based on the game. I gotta check that out.
Oh, you do that. I'll pass. Moving on to 2004 on the Macintosh.
Oh.
We got Chessmaster 9000.
Yeah, buddy.
Now I want to know, like, why 9,000? I mean, were there 8,999 games before that? No.
Do you have to play them to play 9,000?
Yeah, I have no idea, but like, I never understood when the Chessmasters, like, there's so many games that come out like that where it's like 3,000, 4,000. I'm like, why?
There's nothing you can do. The only upgrade I remember for chess is when you're able to play on the 3D boards.
Yeah, it's
that was
weird.
that was like, this is awesome. Beyond that, what are you gonna do to chess?
Not a clue. 2005 on the PSP, and I love the title of this game because it's so ridiculously long. On the PSP 2005, Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie.
That's the official name of the game.
That is the name of the game. I'm like, I have no idea why they felt the need to put the official game of the movie on it, because was somebody coming out with fake versions of the movie game? Or
yeah, it's called Donkey Kong,
I guess. And closing us out in 2006 on the Nintendo Wii, and I'm assuming this is the virtual console download, we got the NES version of the original Tennis.
Ooh, okay.
Remember that game where it was just called Tennis?
Yeah, part of the Black Box series, yeah.
There you go.
Sweet.
And that is This Week in Gaming.
Good stuff, my friend. Excellent. So, well, you're already in your car, so
yeah, and I'm gonna turn it on, and you're not gonna hear a thing.
I was gonna say I purposely left that dead air in there because that was him literally turning his car on. You heard the key jingle.
The car on, and here's some Christmas music.
Yep, sure. We'll take your word on it.
Oh, you can't hear my Christmas music?
Oh, there it goes.
My poor Christmas music.
There it goes.
Because we're almost there. It is almost Christmas.
We are, and we're gonna actually. This is our last episode before Christmas, so
that is true. So, Larry, I wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much.
I wish all of our listeners, or people who just listen to mock us, a very Merry Christmas.
No,
I hope you mock us well.
Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. A Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Boxing Day,
Happy
Kwanzaa, all of it. But personally, I like Christmas, so Merry Christmas. But in all honesty, enjoy it. Hopefully, everyone gets what they want to get. Go out there, buy yourself some retro gaming. And me and Ann, I think me and you got one of the best gifts that we can get here on the Retro Gamers is the fact that we broke that 1,000 follower, that 1,000 like threshold on the Facebook page.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. Clearing 1,000 means a lot to us. We're really happy that we have enough people that are crazy enough to listen to us and pay attention.
Absolutely.
Half the time I can't do it.
Two kids from Brooklyn originally. Figure just getting on a couple mics, 2,000, 3,000 miles away from each other, and we just got it started, but you guys are helping us make this work. So thank you, everyone.
And we haven't killed each other yet.
No, not yet. Well, that's because we're 3,000 miles away. So.
Well, you know what? If I learned anything from the Star Wars movie, it's the power of the Force. So.
And with that, everyone, enjoy the holidays. Merry Christmas. Everyone will check you next week right here on the Retro Gamers.